All right, today we're going to be doing our favorite episode of the month. We're going to be talking all about August 2026 and the energies, the tarot, and all of the different things that are going to be coming along with what to expect for August. So, we're going to be talking a little bit about the Lionsgate portal, what that is. We're going to talk a little bit about Leo and Virgo and what those even mean. And then we're going to talk a little bit about solar eclipse season, as this month is going to set off the solar eclipse season. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the summer energies and the things that are going to be expected to kind of be called in, but also be worked on while you're working through this month in August. So thanks so much for being here today. I'm Stacy.
And I'm Jamie.
Welcome to Peace Out Witches, the official podcast for Peace Not Perfection Academy. Hosted by Jamie and Stacy, we're best friends, doctors in metaphysical science, ordained ministers, and certified coaches. We are the founders of the Peace Not Perfection Academy. Every week, we explore one real challenge women are experiencing, explaining why it's happening, and share one practical step that you can take in order to begin healing through women's healing arts. Whether you're exploring your own healing journey or preparing to become a practitioner, you're in the right place.
Honestly, August is one month that we've been looking forward to because it's absolutely packed. Seriously. When we started looking at the astrology for this month, we both kept saying, wow. Then we look at the next transit and we were like, wow, it gets bigger and more energetic. And, months can feel really quiet, but this month, August, isn't one of those quiet months. But before we jump into individual dates, let's just look at the bigger picture. Every month has the lesson, and some months are about rest, and some months are about healing. Months are about endings. But August lesson, I think the biggest lesson here, the biggest takeaway is regulation before action. Think about that. Not action before regulation, not reacting before breathing, not forcing before listening, regulation, calming yourself before you jump right in with your initial gut response. This is because the month asks us to move forward, but it's also allowing us to take a minute to align ourselves with more of our purpose as opposed to aligning ourselves with fear. So a lot of us women, especially, we live in a system that is unregulated. Our nervous system is on fire because of our life and a lot of us are mothers, a lot of us are business owners, and we have multiple hats we wear every day. So it's easy for us in this month to go straight to reaction because of the energies of Leo, because the other transits and other things that are happening this month that we'll get into. But really is an opportunity to just take a breath, find your core alignment, how you truly feel about whatever you feel like you need to react to, and then come from a place of response. So it's a very different energy, and it's actually a really good tool to learn in just in life in general as you grow and you become more authentic and into your healing.
Well, and it is a big month. I mean, it really does have a lot of things that we jam pack into August. And I love, Jamie, that you're bringing up the point that we really need to, take a deep breath and even maybe take a week or a little bit of time as we're moving into this beginning of August and look at what it is we're calling in to this next part of the year. Because a lot of us are going to have things like school starting at the end of the month. And so there's going to be a lot of upward movement and preparation that's going to happen for the end of the month. So it's really important in this beginning of the month to take a few steps back and give ourselves some tools that will be able to work with our nervous system. So before we talk all about what August brings, I'm going to pull a quick card and we'll talk a little bit about that, and then we'll move forward on the dates and the things to expect, holidays, celebrations, and all that August is going to bring. What I always like to ask is just, what is some things that are going to support us through the month of August? So specifically, what is something that's going to support our listeners and our subscribers, the people that are watching this specifically? And we've got one that popped out already. And then I like to always pull a second just to kind of confirm what that might be that would support the listeners for the month of August and for just kind of coming through and really working through these energies. So what is something that will support our listeners? Ooh. All right. So first we've got the Two of Swords.
Oh, so the swords representing thinking, thoughts, patterns, intellect.
She's pretty. but also
So
blinded and
you're
has
she's
to
stuck.
sort.
So she's got choices to make. She's got choices to make.
And then the
The
other two
blind
things,
representing
okay.
hidden information.
And then we've got these other two that popped out. So this is going to be the Ace of Swords, which was closest to the Two of Swords.
Oh my. So the Ace of Swords is more of a victory dance. This is where there is a sense of completion and we've arrived in some way. So that's a better card for this month in a sense because we're going to be celebrating Lammas August 1st. If you follow the wheel of the year, and it's about celebrating and being in gratitude for the harvest to come because we planted our seeds in July and began our planting of seeds actually on, if you followed us.
July felt a lot like building, planting, digging in, but not a lot like being out
Yeah.
in the world. It felt really more like
No,
a secluded recluse, not very much like summer, but more just like that hidden aspect is how July felt. For you? Yes, no,
definitely.
or
Because if you think of it like, if you think about like Lammas, because we haven't talked about that yet, but we'll just talk about it real quick. And in June, we come into the summer solstice, and the solar energy is giving us the energy to have body energy to create, to plant the seeds that we want to harvest in fall for winter, because the winter time is more an inward turning. So we want to be able to harvest before winter. And July is that tending to your soil, what's buried beneath. It's not eagerly willing anything to grow. You're consciously tending to your growth. And so there is that dark piece. There is that quieter piece in July that we often will just skip over because it's summer. And then coming into August, we are seeing what we've planted grow and manifest out of the earth. And we're harvesting some things too because they've grown to full bloom. And so with the Ace of Swords, like, is absolutely what to expect in August. It's like clarity or a breakthrough and having the vision to keep going and to keep working towards whatever you're working towards, but also having the energetic momentum in your body to do it. Like you will have solar energy and that momentum to do it.
Okay. And then the last one was the Three of Wands.
Oh, yeah. You want to cover that one?
No, go for it.
Okay. So the Three of Wands, he is stepping away in a sense, and he is segregated, or you are segregated from all what was behind you, your past. So whatever blocked you. And now you're looking forward out into your vision of your future. And so it's about building that confidence and it's about wielding your magic and having breakthroughs to move forward, basically.
And so I think what this really tells us about how to support ourselves through the month, it's really about taking a step back and
Mhm.
being able to take some deep breaths, being able to figure out how to better support our bodies and our minds. Maybe even doing some shadow journaling work or some pieces like that, where you're really just kind of figuring out what it is that you're not taking with you into this next part of the season. And then the Ace of Swords is kind of like that. What are we calling in? Calling all the downloads, really being able to access them and grab them. And
Mhm.
then the wands is really not picking up that old crap that you agreed you weren't going to pick up. So if in the beginning of August you're letting go of and releasing, then by the end of August you are picking up the fruits of that labor. And even though August 1st and 2nd is traditionally where we would harvest, like in the harvest for farmers and things like that, we're still going to have the fruits of our labor all summer be continuing to come in and be able to, continue to receive the abundance from that. And it really is a powerful month. I feel like every August is very much like that. And we really start off the month with that anticipation, specifically from Lammas and from the anticipation of August 8th, which is the Lionsgate portal. And then before that, like the end of July is really when Leo season begins. So Leo's a really big energy. And my husband's a Leo. They're a very big energy. And I start hearing about my husband's birthday like a month in advance about what we're going to be doing. So they get excited, right? It's a
Mhm.
very excited
Yeah.
energy. And they also want to go out and have fun. And so there is a lot of this like planning and doing things and spending those last bits of summer enjoying and taking all in that you can. And then we have the astrological pieces, right?
Right. The Leo energy distilled down is time to be seen because the Leo energy definitely wants to be the center of attention. It's your time to shine. So if that goes for everybody, you don't have to be a Leo to appreciate the confidence and willingness to shine brighter that a person under the Leo sign with that Leo influences in their chart will create for themselves. So that this is the time and the solar energy is giving you that moment to do that. So actually a good energy for people who are shy. It pushes
Yeah.
them out of their comfort zone and it makes them take more action than they're used to.
It's a
So
very
that's
action
important.
oriented month.
Yeah.
And I think it's also got a lot of excitement with it because, you've got like college starting at the end of August
Mhm.
usually. You've got a lot of different things that you're developing and building for that new school year, which is going to go through fall and winter. And
Mhm.
so there is a lot of excitement and a lot of buildup and a lot of preparation and a lot of just woo, that
Yeah.
that you can kind of feel in the environment. So let's now talk a little bit about the cosmos and some of the dramatic shifts they're going to be making. So on August 6th specifically, we've got our planet Venus is going to be entering into Libra, which is going to be really awesome for Libras, but also really good for anybody who has Libra in any of their houses. So it's good to check and see where Venus might be in your houses, where Libra might be in your houses, and then you
Mhm.
would be able to see kind of what you might be working on specifically in your own existence with
Mhm.
this Venus movement, especially for the divine feminine, because the divine feminine is specifically ruled by Venus. And she really is creating an excellent romance, beauty. You can think of like Libra and Leo, they're friends. Okay. They're really some of the best of friends. Like, I think Libra doesn't have a lot of friends that really work well with them. And Leo happens to be one of those that can. And so this is one of those harmonious moments that's going to bring, a lot of deepening. But what the cards are telling us and what the energy is telling us is you need to ask what you want to deepen in. Don't make commitments for the new year, for August through fall, right? For the new 2026-27 school year that you don't want to take, that are going to burn you out, that are not what you want to take into this new point. And that is what Libra and Leo and Venus being in Libra are really going to be asking you. Is this a commitment that you want to deepen and follow through with? Or is it ready to be moving on? Someone
Mhm.
else can handle that.
Yeah. It's about balance. And Leos are the Leo energy. They want what they want and they'll leave the rest. So there is that kind of aspect to, and then the Libras are finding the balance. I mean, this is
Hmm.
very, very simplistic Libra energy because I feel like the Libra energy is very complex, but
Yeah.
just finding the balance in all of the things. So if you feel that Leo energy saying, cut this out, I'm done, we're not going to even think about this, this is off my plate, the Libra and be like, yes. Or we can find balance with it if it's something you have to include on your plate and you have no choice, really leaning into that. And then the Venus energy, which I love so much, is romanticizing life, romanticize and flow into these energies as opposed to them feeling so masculine for us divine feminine. It could be something so simple as just bringing in the romanticism to even our daily planning, making it fun, making it beautiful, making the choices that we make honoring who we are becoming. So that is what I identify as romanticizing these kind of bigger shifts that'll happen this month for us and having to really make decisions and sometimes they're not fun.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I really love that because I think it gives a lot of room for dreaming and it gives a lot of room for really calling in what is it that grounds you? What is it that makes you happy? What is it that calls in your joy? Because really, we started this whole conversation today with the fact that it's important to first have grounding of
Mhm.
not just your nervous system, but just all the things than it is to be running, 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 right? And so
Mhm.
this is that time where you can determine what am I going to put into place that helps me ground? What am I going to put into place that's fun? I don't want to just look at the school year and dread it. I want to have things that I'm going to look forward to that are exciting. And so dreaming about it and really finding ways to have a mindset of curiosity and excitement instead of a mindset of dread of what's going to come. All right,
Oh,
then August 9th, we've got Mercury moving into Leo. And so this is big for Leo. It's really going to create, specifically, it creates the Leo stellium. So before Mars moves into Cancer. So it's going to really ask for balance, bold ideas, and emotional self-care. So you can see how beginning of August, we've got this celebration that we have, right, in the wheel of the year. And then we've got this August 6th movement of Venus into Libra, which asks us for harmony and grounding and what we want to call into our life. And then August 9th and 11th is asking you to make bold moves towards what is the most important to you. And that may be self-care, joy, all the things that are really going to bring in that grounding. So you can see how that beginning part of the month is really important for, I think, getting serious about what you want and what you're calling in and what you're not, and having a sacred yes and a sacred no, because that really helps you have emotional self-care.
and
Don't say
I
yes to
I would like
everything.
to I would like to translate this to business too, because the energy supports being seen and heard. So if this is something that you are challenged with, then this would be the time to actually go out there and do it. And knowing in business that we want to fail fast, because the more we fail, the more successes we'll have. So don't let your fear stop you, regulate yourself and then do it anyways. And Leo's confidence, Leo's ability to communicate so well and to shine their light the brightest will give you that momentum and all the energy you need to do that.
Let's talk a little bit about the Lionsgate portal. So, I mean, if you've been following us for long enough, you understand that there is a difference between the moon calendar and the Gregorian calendar. So the Gregorian calendar is something that we all use in our current world and existence. And so that would give a Lion's Gate portal of 8-8. Okay. And 8-8 is like a sacred number, and it is part of sacred geometry. And it is when the Lion's Gate portal is thought to be at its highest peak. Okay. But in reality, because we live off of a moon calendar and not off of a Gregorian calendar, what we're actually looking for is the midpoint when the sun transitions through Leo. And so we look for the sun to transition through Leo at the degree of 15. And so that happens this year on August 8th. And so this year it actually is a cross quarter point that's going to be happening on the 8th. It starts with the Sirius alignment, and it is when the fixed star Sirius sits at 14 degrees 25 and it is across from the sun. And then we actually see on the 8th, the sun's going to be at 15 degrees Leo, forming a precise flowing of the semi-sextile 30 angle, which is Sirius to Cancer. And the celestial bodies in the sky make this special portal, okay, which we call the Leo Lionsgate portal. Now,
Mhm.
in reality, it actually starts around the end of July, around the end of July 30th, and goes until the midpoint of August. So it is during that whole Leo season, and it is really when the constellation of Cancer gets to move in through. So it's not moving through Leo, it's moving through Cancer, but it will actually have the what we call the heliacal rising, which is the ancient Egyptian alignment. These are lots of big words for me to be using. And so what happens is that we see the star rise on the horizon. Okay. So as the star comes up on the horizon, that actually happens between August 11th and August 15th. And so you can see how the dates can be a little bit different there when you're looking at the astrology and the actual way that the stars move through the sky. And so it's really just a heightened portal to be able to create the things you want to create in your life. It's going to bring a heightened existence on looking at whether these things you're calling into your life are actually serving you or not serving you. And so it's a great time to be able to call in what it is you are looking for next.
And I think it also correlates to our heart and deep inside our heart. Like, what is your heart calling you towards? What are you willing to step out of your comfort zone in order to pursue in this lifetime and in this moment? So it's not necessarily about manifestation. It's about manifestation in the 3D world. So money, things, objects, experience, whatever. It is really about manifestation of more of the core energy of who you are and stepping out in faith and having the courage of the Leo energy too, to shine your light as bright as you can and share your gifts, share your story, share your face, your beautiful face, and your beautiful words, and just stepping out and doing it because it's just going to give you that extra energy to do that. Can you see a theme here for August? Really authentic courage, stepping out in faith, just stepping out and being seen and heard. Like that's really, and all the energy support that. So if that's something that you have struggled with in the past, and maybe this is the one thing that's stopping you from change, then know that August will support you in your endeavors to push through the fear and do it anyways.
So that brings us to the mid-month. We've got August 12th. So before we move forward, let's just review really quick what we have at the beginning of the month. So at the beginning of the month, we have a Wheel of the Year celebration, which is between both of the equinox and the solstice. And that is between August 1st and August 2nd and is called
Lammas.
Then we've got August 6th, Venus entering into Libra, which is going to make it feel really nice, shiny, and beautiful. The divine feminine is going to feel romantic. Leo is going to feel wonderful. This is a great time to be taking vacations, to be going out and doing things that are exciting and fun and of your heart's desire. And then we've got August 9th to 11th with Mercury entering into Leo. And this is really going to ask you for emotional self-care, bold ideas, but only calling in the things that are actually serving into your life and really having a sacred yes and a sacred no. Then towards the middle of the month, we are going to start our eclipse season for this astrological year. So that is going to start on August 12th with a solar eclipse. So that solar eclipse is still in Leo. And it's going to be opening up a fresh 6-month cycle. So you can kind of think about anything that you were calling in through the Lionsgate portal. So between July 30th and August 12th, even up to the 12th, are going to be the things that are going to be spotlighted through the solar eclipse. I do not suggest doing manifestation vision magic on August 12th. I suggest August 12th to the time that the eclipse season portal ends, which is around August 25th to 27th. That would be really a time to be spotlighting in your life triggers that may be coming up, because those triggers are most likely coming up to enlighten the bold ideas that you have and the things that you're calling in, and really ask whether that's something you're going to be doing or not. It's saying, are you asking this? Are you doing this? So between the August and 12th until the portal kind of ends around the 25th to 27th, that's a really great time again for grounding, for fun, for excitement, for joy, for all of those things. But also, if you're getting triggered, it's good to ask questions about those triggers and get curious, because they're usually going to be a spotlight to the things that you were calling in. Now, what does the eclipse portal do? It does give you an opportunity for your creative power to really be called in. So it is a great time to be able to receive downloads, to be able to work with the energy, but it is more of a time that is eclipsing, right? Especially because it's a solar eclipse. The sun is shining light on the things that maybe you have hidden or that you're not wanting to deal with.
So I hear introspection, inner work, inner journey, grounding, bodies of water, go get in the water, enjoy the time too, because there's a sense of manifestation that happens just as a way of just happening, not because you forced it or thought your way to it or felt your way to it. That happens when we just allow ourselves to be enjoy and have fun just for the sake of it. And then manifestations do occur. And during the eclipse season, there could be sudden opportunities. There could be sudden manifestations that, maybe you set the intention for 10 years ago and then suddenly here it is because you gave yourself an opportunity to not push, but to just breathe and receive and do the inner work during that time and have fun.
Well, and the eclipse season is really going to be from August. It'll be like 3 months usually around that time
Mhm.
period. So, this isn't the beginning or end of anything. This is really the beginning of all the things that you've been working hard to create. And this is going to be that season where we're going to get a glimpse, first with the solar eclipse, then with the lunar eclipse, August 25th to 27th. So the solar eclipse is going to be really spotlighting the things that we are calling in. Is this truly a sacred yes for you or not? Right? Like, ha ha ha, are you sure? And then August 25th to 27th is our lunar eclipse. So that's really going to be asking you, do you have the nervous system ready for what you are calling in? Okay. And that is why, again, we're telling you that August is about sacred yes, sacred no, grounding, breathing, enjoying, trying really hard to live within your body and call in the things that you want into your life. Because as August 25th, 27th happens, we have Mercury stationed direct in Virgo. So it's going to be very like studious and getting things done, questioning things, but really looking forward to how do I put this plan into place, right? So I created, I grounded, now I'm putting it into place. Now I'm going to be hitting, running off. And then the lunar eclipse is asking you to bring closure to things that maybe at the beginning of the month you said no to, things that you were releasing or letting go. It's going to ask you, are you really releasing that or letting it go? And you may see this in heightened intuition, but you may also see this in heightened triggers or sudden endings. Like maybe you had an inkling of something that you needed to let go, and then by the end of August, it just was gone for you. It didn't even have to like have anything happen. It just was. It just was done. And then we didn't really talk about August 22nd, but that's when the sun is going to enter into Virgo. So that brings us again that week of like organization, declutter, focus, daily health routines. So when you're looking at the 6th through the 12th, what am I calling in? And then from the 12th on, it's building all those things you called in, which makes sense because we've got a lot of school that's going to be starting and all that stuff that really energetically is just in our world during that time period.
I
It
do want
makes
to add,
sense that Virgo would be during that time when we're like, hey, let's start school.
it does make sense. Yeah, it does, especially if you're a homeschooler, you or a homeschool teacher, definitely a good time to start.
Yeah.
But I don't want to forget like the energy of August 1st to maybe the 12th, that when you would take that divine action, take some action and let your light shine. So just keep that in mind for that first part of the month. And then moving into the eclipse season, then do not get started with that. I'm not recommending just that's when you begin. Because if you've already started the momentum at the beginning of the month, then keep going. Don't
Right.
stop. But don't start. Just allow yourself to have 2 weeks of introspection, what triggers you, journaling, digging deep, but then also having fun because, what is life without gratitude and fun? And what is manifestation when you're not in a space of gratitude? Because then you really don't appreciate it when it comes. You just don't. And so, having your creative downloads, having those insights come through during that time. And then at the end of the month, plans are in place and the energy is there to get things done. And I wanted to add one more thing. I think that decluttering is a definite way of grounding. So if
Mhm.
you feel that you're overwhelmed with clutter, and that does stop people from momentum in so many ways, in so many growth ways, that energy will give you the way that the energy is in that second half of the month will allow you to release some of that clutter. So take that momentum and ground yourself by releasing things you don't no longer need, physical things.
Yeah. Well, and Venus is going to be in Libra for the whole month of August. So it really should be a great time to be able to figure out balance in a lot of
Mhm.
ways. And you might even find a lot of like middle ground happening in legal situations or a lot of middle ground happening in marriages, a lot of just making peace with things that maybe have been stirring for a while. And that solar eclipse, it's like I said, it's going to, shine light on those new beginnings and those things you're calling in. So it's really a shadow light month, and it's really a balance month because it's really asking you to call in what you want in life, right? And don't be afraid to have fun. And I think that's what's important anytime we do shadow work. I think people think that they have to like dig into the shadow and go, 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 go. And I think the great thing about what the moon cycles teach us is that we don't have to dig into shadow for a whole month. We could dig into shadow for a day, and then we could have a few more days of light and fun and traveling and vacations and bringing in all the fun stuff. It doesn't have to always be, shadow, shadow, shadow. Do we have any other tidbits for August? Any other
Just
things to kind of bring to it that might be important to share?
this is the month of August in a nutshell to me. It's big energy. So it's big heart opening. It's big creativity, big giant downloads, big releasing fear and embracing your courage, self-expression, and just allow it. And then there's that piece that during the eclipse season where you get to dream a little. You get to dream. And then Virgo will bring in more of the, okay, let's plan this. Let's get this in a place where every actionable step can be seen that we can do right now. And then we can take it and do the actionable steps. So there's so much energy for change in August and growth. But the biggest thing is just regulate, ground and regulate, and allow yourself to not respond. I mean, react. You want to respond. Whatever comes up, it's not, it could be a trigger moment, but find a tool for you that allows you not to go into the trigger. You can observe it, but not be taken over by it.
Well, last podcast, we talked about the somatic nervous system, and we actually gave some 3 simple tools in that podcast that you could use if you were triggered or in the moment to be able to really ground yourself. So I would suggest going back to that to check it out. If today's episode helped you understand yourself a little more deeply, or you feel like you're a little more prepared for how to support yourself through August, then please share this with a friend. So please comment below. Let us know what you'd like us to talk about. Share with a friend. Give us a 5-star review on any of the things that you're listening to on your podcast. And it really does help us continue to get our message out and continue to help support Peace Out Witches, and also getting people to our academy, where we just really want to help women find their inner magic and be able to live in peace, not in pieces. So I think that's it for August and for the day. If you're really needing support with, you keep hearing us maybe have this conversation in August about grounding and about having a nervous system that is grounded, and you feel like that's something you really need support with, I really would suggest you book a one-on-one call with us with the link below. We're so excited that you choose to spend your time here with us each week at Peace Out Witches. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you again next week. Peace out, witches.